Yes, sir. Mr. Tibor Benke? Mr. Pete Zahn?
Here.
Ms. Cheryl Cook?
Here.
Mr. James Newman?
Here.
Mr. Jake Nicely? Mr. John Campchin?
Here.
And Mr. Kenneth Hunt?
Here.
Mr. Javier Benente?
Here.
Thanks.
Great. All right. Pledge of Allegiance. And all rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seated. All right. Approval of the minutes. The board had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes from last time. Any questions? Anything you'd like to bring up in that regards?
Move for approval.
Second.
All right. So we have the minutes approved. It's great. Police report?
We don't have a police report.
Okay, great. And any of the staff reports? I see you have a list of things going on here. You've been busy. I leave the country and just everything happens, huh? Let's see how it is.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
All right, so I want to go over, first we don't have a Public Works report for this month. So once the report comes in, I'll make sure that I email it to everyone. The first item I want to go over is a mural approval. And so that will be displayed on the screen. Yes. So this mural is located at the Magic Shop. So the location of the art is to be the entire south-facing wall of the building at 136 South Beach Street, occupied by the Daytona Magic Shop. This wall faces the alley, which I believe is called Myrtle Lane. With the permission of the business owner, Dan Peterson, the artist has designed a collage-style mural depicting various arts, historical figures, themes of magic genres, and the design is a dynamic and detailed and beautification of how the downtown magic and aesthetics views and different viewers and admirers will see it. You have before you a list, a detailed of the artwork, and the goal on today is if you, the board, will review the art. You've been emailed the artwork as well, and what we need for you all to do is approve it. The redevelopment department has a grant for $10,000 to help with the cost for the mural as well as paying for the artist. Any questions?
I have a couple.
Sure.
The city has a public arts approval board, don't they? Has this been through that board, or
So this is something different.
is it separate from that?
Yes, so out of the redevelopment department, our goal is to make sure we have culture and arts throughout all of the redevelopment areas. So this is a part of one of our initiatives. So it's separate from that.
Because I know the Public Arts Board is relatively new, and I just wondered if they were part of this process. The other question I had, we've had this come up on the planning board in the past, about, I know they've changed some of the regulations on murals as well. And I noticed on this, the Daytona Magic is actually written, and how does that conflict with being a mural or signage?
Right, and so that is something that I will bring up to the artist, because within our land development code, we can't have any signage or
Right.
anything like that. Yes, any words.
And I love the mural, I just noticed that, and I didn't want it to be a problem for them if they went ahead with that
Absolutely,
as such.
yes.
So the Daytona Magic's on the name of the building, it's not advertising, or it's not.
So
Well, you
it's
can
not
have
a part of-
signage, but you can't have signage in a mural.
Yes.
But you can't have signage on
You can't, your mural can't be signage.
It
So-
can
Even
have,
though it says the name of this business on there.
the text amendment won't
But it's,
allow.
as part of the mural,
Okay.
it's,
Oh,
it's,
so, all right, so
it's
it's allowed.
it becomes advertising at that point, it becomes signage at that point. In the view of our land development code, you're restricted from having anything that looks like signage or graffiti in a mural.
So there was a text amendment to the Land Development Code that allows for some verbiage words. I'm going to defer to Michelle Tolliver because I was not aware of that text amendment.
And I know they've had some amendments, and that's the reason for my question is, has that been amended? Is that allowed?
There was a text amendment done to allow Daytona Aquarium to incorporate signage in their mural. The specific day and time, I cannot recall because I didn't prepare for this ahead of time, but we did a text amendment to allow for the words in the mural to be counted as part of the signage for the business. And I can provide that to Phoebe to provide to you all.
Does that apply to all murals or just that? special-
It applies to all murals.
Okay.
It can be counted toward the signage for the business.
So
So-
in other words, if he has a separate sign for his business, he may or may not be able to include these words because if his signage already meets all of the Land Development Code requirements, this would go beyond that. He would need to remove those words. If he doesn't have the specific signage that meets the Land Development Code and this does not go above and beyond, he can include some words in the mural, is my understanding of
So
it.
you're allowed for a certain square footage of signage,
Yeah.
and if this is within that, then it would be acceptable.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I brought up this can of worms.
So,
Remember, there was some requirements on signage for individual street footage. So would he have some allowable square footage for Beach Street and some allowable square footage for Myrtle Lane? Because if so, then if we're looking at those tiny little words, Daytona Magic, which really kind of goes into the theme of the mural versus advertising, I would think that typically on a corner lot, businesses have opportunity for square footage on each face.
I'd like to add that those words are actually over an entrance.
I was wondering
Yeah,
about that.
If it's an
I've been looked at
existing-
it, and
Yeah.
it actually exists now.
It's a real door there.
It's a real door, and I think that's where they'd get their shipping,
It is.
yeah. So in this case, I think it's very practical, and
Yeah,
and
I agree.
it's more of, this is, our entrance, so.
Mm-hmm.
The only question I would have is to ask if there is any, I love the mural, just so to state my position, if there's any restrictions on how exits have to be identified in case of emergencies. I think they're clearly identified here, but I'm just wondering if there's anything in it, because there are 3 entrances. One, if I think on the far right, is blocked off, if I'm not mistaken, but the other 2, I think, are active entrances.
Usually
So the
fire code
active
relates to the inside, not the outside.
Correct.
Okay.
And also, the entrances to the Magic store is in the front of the building, and you can come in on the back of the building. This is on the side of the building, which there is a door on the side, but they don't really use that unless they're just pushing in inventory for the wider alley.
Yeah, my concern is not so much for the public, but for when emergency personnel imagine trying to find a hidden door. And in this case, they're well marked. I can see that those are doors, and when you go out there and physically, you can see them. But I'm just thinking for future, somebody could incorporate a door into a design that you can't see it. So, a fire showing up may, if it's not marked properly. I just wanted to make sure that there's nothing afoul
Okay.
here. It looks beautiful, in my opinion.
any other questions? Are we making a motion to approve this? Okay, great. Anybody like to make the motion?
I move to approve the mural as shown.
I'll second that.
Great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Can we get a written narrative of what all this symbols mean?
That's what you have before you.
Description here. Many of the depictions and the composition are inspired by characters and posters from the period of the 1920s in which the building was constructed. Yeah, I think it's a very nice piece of artwork, something that's missing in the downtown area, so that could work. All right.
By the way, the
So,
aquarium looks.
Before, oh, awesome. Before
Are they?
Yes.
Oh, great.
I was gonna say, the artist is here.
I didn't know. Have the artist come up or the owner of the building.
We own the building.
Okay, great. Please come up.
Work some magic.
Like, well, he already approved it.
We should have had him wait a little longer. We shouldn't have
At
approved
our
it yet.
meetings before, the artist came to us and asked us, and I said, I don't have an issue. But I didn't want to jump in. That door that you see with the sign, that exists, as someone pointed out today. So there's that door with the sign above it is our receiving door and where we, receive shipments.
So the sign is already pre-existing?
The sign's already pre-existing.
Oh,
So it's
okay,
not
then-
part of the mural in any way. It's actually an awning that fits out over the door. That's a point of clarification, just so, not that you've already approved it, it's fine. The artist came to us, we thought it was great, we thought it reflected the history and kind of architecture of the area. So,
And what are your names?
I'm Dan Peterson, this is my wife Anna.
Okay. Nice to meet you both.
So we figured we were right down the road, we'd come sit in on this. If you got any questions, anything else, feel free to ask, but it's cool.
You've been at that location for how long?
So we are newer owners of the building and owners of the business, but the location has been there since 1990, I think.
Is Harry still
30.
involved, or is he not there anymore?
Harry was there, he works with us. In
Okay.
fact, he's there right now.
Okay.
Doing his thing.
Yeah, they moved in there from Bel Air Plaza.
Yeah, they relocated from Bel Air Plaza, and then Ann and I bought the business and the building in '21 from Irv and Harry.
So Harry agreed to stay on part-time to, just be the face.
The
for
world
now.
knows him, let's put it that way.
Everybody knows him,
Yeah.
so.
So anyway, any questions, we're here. I mean, I get it, it's a formal meeting, but we're the only people here, so you can
You're always
just
invited to come by, and see some
shout
magic.
out and say, hey. I got
What are the hours?
We're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Saturday.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, you all play a role in the annual convention, Magicians Convention.
Correct.
It has a little bit broader economic impact.
Yeah, we do an annual convention for magicians from all over. They come in from everywhere. We got AGT talent people who perform at the convention, and then the shows are open to the public. So we do them News Journal Center. It depends. This year the cost is getting crazy relative to, I mean, not to get into details, but last year we put it on, I think the cost is around $50,000 to put it on. We probably only collected about 25, so we can't do that this year. That's not a good business equation, but we do that every year, and we're working on getting that done for November of this year, so.
Talk to the city, I hear they have a lot of money, so we'll see.
Well, that's why we're here. We
What
got
type
a
of
phone call
attendance?
today, I'm gonna come knock on the door, so.
What type of attendance are you having on that? What is
We
the
get
impact?
last year we had 135 people from all over the place. We had people from France, we had people from Canada, we had a bunch of Puerto Rican people, magicians,
South American.
South American magicians. But, we try to keep it at a $200 cost to them. But by the time you start rolling in the News Journal and 2 performance centers for $10,000, and it just starts to get cost prohibitive, and I get it, the cost of the world is going up, but getting people to spend $400 to come to a convention not in Las Vegas is kind of tough. So we're working it. I mean, we got our talent lined up for this year, and we're already working, trying to get there, so.
And what month is that held in?
What's that?
What month?
November. It's November 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to get more local interest to attend the actual magic shows on Friday and Saturday. Those are not, restricted to magicians only. It's for the general public and children. They're family friendly, but they're very, very fun.
Yeah, so, and anybody, not that anyone cares, but we have sold just this 2 months ago, we've sold to David Copperfield, we sold to Penn and Teller. We have people buy from everywhere, literally all over the world.
Need to get them at your convention.
He was not at the convention, although we did have Lance Burton one year at the convention, was the
Wow.
main performer. So yeah, we get some big.
I'm curious how you don't know all those sales were just an illusion.
Hey, that's just it. Put it this way, when Copperfield called and said, I want to buy this bowling ball from Briefcase, and I said, okay, we'll write it up. He says, I said, and who am I talking to? This is David Copperfield. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Harry Houdini. Who am I really talking to?
Right.
No, it's really me. Here's my email address. Send me a bill. And better make it 2 of those. In my head, I'm thinking, this is the guy who's got the largest magic collection in the world, and he's worth $1 billion, and he's calling me in Daytona to buy 2 things? I'm not complaining.
Go with it.
So anyway, if you got
Excellent.
questions, we're here.
Thank you. Appreciate
you.
it.
No problem.
Nice meeting you.
All right, so now that's been approved, all right? Next thing on the agenda, grants.
Yes, grants, the hot topic that everybody wants to know. So the redevelopment team, Angela led this initiative with restructuring our grant process. So I want to highlight some of the changes that we've made. As you know, the goal with redevelopment is to make sure that we have a beautiful area. The businesses are thriving. We want to make sure that whoever decides to have a business, first, thank you for having a business in our redevelopment areas and also in the city of Daytona Beach. But I get it, and we get it, that it takes a lot to run a business. And it's something as simple as redoing an awning or doing some changes to painting, or even with times get hard where you will need some lease subsidy. So prior to that, we had grants, as you all know. You've been around for a while to see that we were having the grants that were like $5,000 and $1,500. So now things have changed, and we've looked at our budget and also looked at how we can make it more attractive for business owners to stay in the redevelopment areas, but also come to the redevelopment areas and have their businesses here. So want to go through that. The next slide shows what changed. So the old commercial facade grant awarded up to 50% of the total project cost for facade improvements. And the maximum amount was $5,000 for existing businesses and $10,000 for multiple storefronts or new businesses. And these are some of the improvements that were approved, whether it was the brick and texture pavement, landscaping, planters and exterior lighting, painting, stucco repairs, pressure cleaning, signages, and awnings. And so now what we're looking at with the new changes is it's called the new commercial incentive program. So this awards up to 80% of the total project cost for facade and interior improvements. The maximum amount of $50,000 for interior and exterior improvements. This already is attractive for business owners and existing business owners who are looking to do improvements. So these improvements, we've added some additional options for you all. So interior renovations, including but not limited to heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems, electrical systems, plumbing, greasing, grease traps, kitchen hoods, painting, interior lighting, and also exterior renovations, including but not limited to brick and texture pavements, landscaping, painting, stucco repairs, entryways, decorative fencing, exterior lighting, roofing, impact resistant windows, awnings, parking lot improvements, or flood remediation work. And then also this covers another part of the grant. It covers up to 50% of the total project cost for design assistance, which is architectural drawings, up to $20,000. So this is, so with this, you would need to be in existence for at least 2 years. And there is a couple stipulations with it. It's a loan, so we will refund the loan amount. So you pretty much don't have to pay it back. That's how that particular program works. As far as the program, the other program that we have is any application over $25,000 for individual projects require approval from the Community Redevelopment Agency and recommendations from the CRA Advisory Board. So if an applicant comes to us and wanting that particular incentive program, they would have to come before the board, you all. You would review it, approve it, and then, or not approve it, you would have to make a decision on that. And then afterwards, we would send it to the CRA, which is during the commission meeting. Okay, the application will proceed with work within 120 days. And also, the properties for sale or listed at the time of the application are not eligible. The program funds will be for 2 years with a 0% interest rate forgivable loan. The project will require a written contract between the CRA and the property owner. The contract would include provisions for a lien of the value of the loan to be placed on the property. Okay?
What is a forgivable loan? The program funds will be 2 years, 0% interest rate, forgivable loan. If I know I have a forgivable loan, I'm going to ask forgiveness as soon as possible.
No, they have to wait for the 2 years, and then the city will forgive the loan. They don't have to pay us back. If the property does not continue to meet the requirements of the program, then we wouldn't forgive the loan, and the lien would remain on the property. So if, for example, somebody sold it within 6 months of the program, they would have to settle the lien in order to have a clean title.
So it's forgivable if you've maintained the property and you remained as a property owner, and the idea is to, long-term, make sure they're not just in for short-term and then pop out.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yes. So the goal is to make sure that you are there more than 2 years. And that's just like Kira
And
was
it becomes a
saying.
grant instead of a loan.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So just so I understand, I would imagine that many of your applicants are going to be business owners, not necessarily property owners. They might be leasing a space.
Correct.
So in those cases, the agreement between the city is with the property owner.
We would include all the parties.
You would include all the parties.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Good point.
Okay. And so as far as with the architectural drawings, the fundings may not be used for design fees alone. So it has to be a collaborative effort. If you want to have architectural drawings paid for with this grant funding, you have to also have a complete project and not just the plans.
Is the funding for design separate from the actual work funding? So you offered, what was it, 50,000 for work on the property, and is the funding for design work over and above that?
It's over and above.
So it's a separate thing,
It's separate, but you have to do both.
but you have to do both?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any additional questions on this part?
What is the city's total budget for this, for each area?
I don't have that in front of me, but I will provide that information to you.
So it's not so much a question as a point. To me, this is an important program. I'd love to see it succeed. I'd love to see folks going out and take advantages and improving the downtown area. If I looked at it from the perspective of a property owner who had a new business coming in, for example, that is asking me to put a lien on a property to make improvements for a business that I don't necessarily know is going to succeed, and I may not want that storefront 12 months from now. What mechanism is there in there to protect the property owners, if any? And if not, that's just understood. Is that correct?
Yes. So, and I don't want to sound harsh when I say this, it's the cost of doing business and you take risk, right? And so when you take a risk to have a business in any area, whether it's in the redevelopment area or anywhere, you take that risk. And then also we're taking a risk on the city side to say, hey, we'll provide you the $50,000 up front so you can do what you need to do, because it's a win-win. The city has a win where we have a business coming to the area. We also have a business who's interested in doing some type of development and enhancing the beautification of the building. And I get it. It can be risky. If you are a new business coming to the area, you don't know if it's going to really work. But that's also the cost of doing the business and taking those particular risks. Now, what we can do, we offer other programs, and that's something I'm gonna dive into a little bit later, but since we're talking about what can we do to offer the city, the businesses some type of peace of mind, we have a triage program. And this particular program will literally hold the hands of the business owners to say, listen, we have you as the city of Daytona Beach, and whatever that you may have, any gaps, we'll help you fill in those gaps, whether it's resources, understanding where the other resources are, maybe it might be marketing. So we'll help you develop a plan to enhance your marketing strategies. So that's where we will come in to help fill those gaps, because we understand that when you form a business and you're forming it into a redevelopment area or anywhere in the city, any municipality, you're taking a risk. And we're providing, that's why we looked at enhancing the grants and making sure that we have more funds for the business owners to stay, as well as be attractive to come to the redevelopment areas, but forming programs like the triage program to make sure that we're helping you thrive and fill in any type of gaps that are there. Hope that answered your question.
It gives me confidence that if a property owner expresses concerns, you've got a response.
Absolutely.
And again, I think that the program, is a good program. I like to see it succeed.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions on the first part of the grant?
Yes.
Yes.
Something I'm not clear on. Is this for new businesses or for existing businesses or both?
Both.
So I would think there would be less risk in an existing business if they've already been in business for a while, but newer businesses.
Yes, and so you would have to have a BTR and all of the requirements in order to obtain these funds.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So the grant you just went over, that was the Commercial Property and Professional Design Incentive Program?
Yes.
And then you're still going over the lease subsidy and a small project. Okay, great. I just want to mix them.
Okay. So this particular next one is the small project grants. So the existing businesses were a 50-50 match, and the maximum award was $15,000. So now with the new businesses, we've expanded for new businesses who have expanded or relocated to the redevelopment area. Now is a 75-25 match, up to $20,000. So that's the difference with that particular grant. And there's a list of additional projects or improvements that the business owners can have. Next slide. Any questions on this?
Lease subsidy?
So lease subsidy, the only difference that we've changed was we added, instead of $500, it's $1,500. And it's for the 3-month span. And that's in your packet.
What exactly is the lease?
So lease subsidy is, this particular grant, the tenants are able to apply for any type of relief. So maybe they're having some challenges with paying their lease monthly, and so they would submit an application, provide the lease, as well as a letter from the landlord, and we'll be able to, and also their W-9, and we'll provide some relief for them for up to 3 months. The same thing with the landlord. So if there are some challenges with the landlord, because prior to that, we didn't have any funding for those property owners. And so now we have relief for the property owners. It looks similar. The requirement for the property owners as well as the tenants is to take a few of the classes through our triage program. So if there's a gap where you're needing funding to, for your lease, it's very important that we do an assessment in the business development program to see what happened. How can we make sure that this doesn't happen again? And so that goes back to the resources that we're helping out of the redevelopment area department as well as with the city. Okay. Any questions?
I just like to comment. I think really kudos to you know, Ken Thomas and your team, really, Angela and Phoebe and even the attorney. I mean, this took a lot of work to put together and to take it to this level. I think the business owners, I think whether they're property owners or just the business owners, will greatly appreciate and benefit from what was created from your department. So really hats off and kudos to you for that. I'm leaving the country again, so some other stuff can get happen.
Oh, my goodness. So just really, Angela took a lot. She spent countless hours and days. So Angela led this project, and a lot of the thanks goes to Angela. So thank you, Angela, for taking the a lot of days. All right. Any questions with the grants?
Oh, then Mandy, we have to make sure we acknowledge Mandy as well.
Yes,
by
Mandy.
keeping us informed. And so, yes.
Yes, thank you, Mandy. She's our gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anything else, so we can go to the next item? All right, so yes, you're good?
No, yes, we're
Okay.
good.
All right, so the next item is another hot topic, which is our pilot program, the security pilot program. And this particular program, as you all know, it launched on the 15th of April. And we hired First Coast Security. We wanted to mirror what Brown & Brown and the Esplanade had and show some form of consistency throughout the downtown area. So with the pilot program, the area of focus was Beach Street from Orange Avenue to a little past Bay Street, where Tia Cora's restaurant is. And I will tell you, from the third day, the phone call that we received from the security company as well as the police department saying that, hey, there was a situation that happened where there was a burglary, I can't talk, and with a vehicle, and they were able to stop him. So they were talking and had a conversation, and it was a smooth transition. The individual was arrested, and it just was a great report that I received. Granted, no, we don't want to see that downtown, but it was great to know that from this pilot program, day 3, we saw results. The business owners, as well as those who visit frequently downtown, were like, it just feels different. It looks different. And it's great to have the business owners have that peace of mind. And also it's flowing throughout the other part of our downtown CRA. So this is great. You all were emailed some reports to show an example. I want to show you an example of what the daily reports we have. So if you look at the screen, it shows the daily activity. What happens when the officer comes to their shift? They're uniformed. They have their blue uniform, and there is small circles, there are black circles throughout the entire downtown on the buildings. So when they walk, they have their phone, they scan. So that is what when you see the scans, so that particular shift, it has 69 scans. So they scan this black dot and put reports. If they see any type of activity, they document it. And this helps us. They may see no activity. They may see something or any type of interaction. Somebody might come to them and say, hey, where is the bathrooms? The public bathrooms. Well, they document all that information so we can have data. The goal for this program was to capture data. Aside from the concerns from business owners or those who frequently visit, we wanted to capture data so we can say, hey, this is something that we either need downtown or something that we may not need as much downtown. Right now, they are there from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. And we have 2 shifts. So they have 2 shifts, and they're there also for 6 days. So they're not there on Sunday. This is really important for us because we are closing the 60-day program. So that's on the 15th of June, the program stops. We have a meeting on tomorrow, our commission meeting, to ask the commission to extend our program. So our redevelopment team as well as our legal team has been working really hard to get this in motion, communicating with First Coast Security company And they have agreed to say, yes, we want to entertain working with Daytona, the city of Daytona Beach, to extend it a little bit longer. And so what we're looking at is to extend it for another year, this particular program, and making sure that we have presence there. Okay, so you have the data, we have daily reports, and if you want to look at a more detailed report from when we started up until last week, Mandy has a report for you all to review. I've also emailed it to you. If any moment is very, yes, it's detailed, huh? Some of the, you will have some, yes, some pictures you will see. They captured some pictures or different conversations. At any moment, if you want to have a report, you might say, hey, today it was something that interesting happened or something that concerns you. Definitely reach out to me and I'll send you that report for that day. But moving forward, you will receive a packet or you'll be emailed a packet that's about that large for the entire month. Okay, but like I said, any moment you can reach out to me. Do you all have any questions so far?
I do.
Yes.
Is there a way to contact the security if you notice something?
Yes, they have information, and I can provide that to you. But they have little markers throughout, and the merchants have their information as well. So I can provide that information to you. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Our board members, the majority of the businesses are one block behind. So are we looking at having security at least expand maybe back to Palmetto, Magnolia? What are we looking at in that regards?
Yeah, so that's something we are still in discussion with the company as well as our team here at the city. For right now, it's been advised to us by our city manager to to extend this program, and we can see how we can continue to capture data, but also look how we can further have an ambassador program so they can do a little bit more than just foot patrol. Ambassador program will look something like if you see someone who appears to be unhoused, we'll provide information on what they can do to prevent them from being unhoused. Or maybe some people have additional questions about redevelopment or activities that are going on throughout the redevelopment area. They will be more of an ambassador, or seeing buildings that need some redevelopment. So they will be able to report this to us and work hand in hand not only with the redevelopment department, but also code enforcement. So it's a little bit more of an intense program. And so with the city manager suggested that we extend the current program that we have for an additional year.
So he's looking at extending it for another 60 days?
For an additional year. That's
Oh,
the request
additional year, great.
That's correct.
But it's not going to go beyond Beach Street?
For right now, no. So the current pilot program boundaries will continue. The request that we're asking the commission on tomorrow is to extend the current program for another year.
Question, remind me, the funding on the current program is through the city manager's fund, is that correct?
That's correct.
Not the CRA fund, is that correct?
No, this is through the
Oh, it is
CRA,
CRA.
but it's just under his signature.
Under his
Because-
signature authority, but
That's
it
correct.
is coming out of the CRA budget.
Yes, the downtown CRA budget.
So I understand correctly, if I'm hearing correctly, it sounds like the scope of the activity is extending into social services.
No, not for this particular extending of the program. The same exact thing that they're doing now in the pilot program, all we're doing is requesting for the commissioners to extend the time a little bit longer because it's
Of the
above.
current scope and activities.
Correct.
It's further down the road, there might be some discussions of expanding the scope of the activities. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely, as well as the boundaries.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the reason why we're going to the commission meeting on tomorrow, I just want to reiterate, one, because we want to extend the time frame to a year, and two, is because it passes the city manager's signature. Okay? Any questions?
impressed with the report. I saw he's found a set of keys, and it said, we think they're home business owners, and
Yeah.
so I scanned and scanned and scanned and scanned and thought, my goodness, this is a lot of record keeping. But if they're going through and they just have to scan it on a little QR code or something like that, I guess that simplifies it quite a bit.
It does, and they have their phone, so it's easier. They scan the little dot, and you really won't notice unless you're paying attention. So if you ever take a walk on Beach Street and look on the buildings for a black dot, it's about that big, and they scan it, and it opens up the app in their phone, and they just jot down whatever information that they want to put in the report. So they don't have to have a book or computer or tablet. It's just their phone.
Cool.
Yeah, I had dinner on Beach Street yesterday, and I did see the security welcome. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I wanted to talk to him just to get a feel, but I didn't get a chance. But it was great at least seeing them there and, you know, perusing up and down Beach Street. So I think the business owners feel good about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do want to add that they are all locals. They grew up in the area, so that is another peace of mind. When I was had a conversation initially when we started the program, and the company told me that we hired from Daytona Beach, and all of the officers are locals. They grew up here, so you know the layout. And I grew up in Daytona Beach as well, so it definitely warmed my heart to say, oh, we have someone who is here, who was born and raised here, and they know the footprint of the area. So that was refreshing.
Yeah, the officers they hired have been great.
Yeah.
They, I mean, they come in and check on us all the time. They're behind our businesses. They're on front of the business. They have warded off other attacks, not just the one that was reported for the car theft with the break-in, but they have warded off other things themselves personally that if it had happened to a citizen, it would have been really bad. So, no, it's great that we have them.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Any other items on this? Questions?
I think there was a note on here that today's your birthday.
It is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So another item tomorrow will be, this is a holiday, just so you all know. The Sidewalk Cafe. I brought it to you all's attention a few months ago, and that will be on the commission meeting on tomorrow for a text amendment to have the sidewalk cafes. The fees will be waived. In short, the fees will be waived. We will offer grant funding for individuals, business owners who would like to have a sidewalk cafe. We will provide options for you to review for consistency purposes, and we've also widened the ADA so we can make sure for the ADA regulations for when you're going through the sidewalk with the tables and all of the potential barricades will be a seamless flow and also will look beautiful for the viewing. Okay? That will be on the agenda tomorrow. All right, so the triage program. Briefly talked about that. There is a flyer that can be circulated. This is the triage program. Just like when you hear the word triage, it's an assessment. So if you go to the hospital, you go through triage, you get the pulse and all of your vitals. Same thing when it comes to the businesses throughout the redevelopment areas. The goal is to get the pulse or get the vitals of the business owners throughout the redevelopment areas, or those who are interested in being a part of the redevelopment area, so we can find out, do you need marketing strategies? Do you need funding strategies or bookkeeping, strategic plans, making sure that you're able to thrive within the area. So this is a free program. We are still taking applications. We have 60 seats available. This will go on to September. And you will have one-on-ones, there will be workshops, there will be collaborative efforts to make sure that you are successful. So they can go to the city's website, click business under the business tab, and you will see the application there. Or you can contact me for more information. I have a couple more items. I just want to let you all know people are interested in being in the downtown area. I get phone calls after phone calls after phone calls from potential developers or those who are interested in having a business in this area, so that should be encouraging for you all. They're looking to really see, because they see how you all have been able to maintain the businesses in the downtown area, and they wanting to do business or activities. So that's really exciting to hear. And also, we had a board member appreciation event honoring all of our board members. So for those of you who weren't there, I want to give you your bags. And those of you who were there, Ms. Cook and John, you already have your bag, but thank you.
It was a wonderful event. You guys did a ton of work, and it was a wonderful event.
Thank you. We just wanted to show our appreciation because this is a volunteer service that you all do. You don't have to do this, but you do. So it shows that you care about this downtown area, downtown redevelopment. And we just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to help us figure out how we can get things moving and approved. Yes, for the downtown area. So thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we hope you like your bags. And that's all that I have so far.
I did have a quick question, just to follow up on, a while back you were talking about either an application or a program to like take pictures of things that people might have concerns with, and it just immediately goes to a Dropbox and kind of gets into the right hands.
Yes.
What's going on with that?
That is called See It, Click It, Fix It. And that's gone live already. Okay. And so once you go on the website, you're able to, I don't know if Xavier or Joe, if you can pull that up.
1 second.
Okay, thank you. So they're getting it, they're going to pull it up on the screen. But this is a program, and it's exactly what it is. You see it, so if you see something that is disturbing, you see it, you open the app, you take a picture and go from there.
Yeah,
so it's
people know that I'm on the board, and they'll just mention stuff to me all the time. I'm like, like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, well, there's this program coming out.
Yeah, so it's already launched. It's really helped. So on our end, it goes into a queue. So let's say if you're walking and you see maybe some water coming from the ground, that's, of course, you need to call who? Public Works. So you would see it, you take a picture of it, you upload it to the queue, and Public Works would be notified that something is going on. Or if you see trash that's in front of a building, that's a lot of trash, you would see it, click it, and upload it. And this is something that, if it's in the redevelopment area, will be notified as well, so we can continue to follow up on it. You will see live updates. So once you have submitted, or if you haven't submitted, you're able to go to that address or that location to see, okay, someone acknowledged it, someone is working on it, and it's completed. So you see all of the steps. So the goal is to keep everyone engaged. Yes, we're staff and we are doing our part, but we don't see everything. You're out there in the community, so this program was created so you can help us make sure our city is beautiful.
Can I make a comment on that? You can zoom in on that map to the exact location where you're taking a picture. But if you have the capacity on your phone, you should timestamp it as well, because the timestamp also will give the location.
Yes, thank you.
And it also gives the time and date, so.
It's a really great program. So we're excited at this.
But it said to download the app, you have to go to the city's website, then download the app from that on Google or Apple.
You can just do it directly from the city
In the App
website.
Store.
If you just go on the city website on CODB and how do I report an issue, that's what will pop up. So you really don't have to download the app. You can do it directly on the city's
Okay, but
website.
you're in the city and you're walking around, or you're walking behind my store and you see all that graffiti that is just getting ridiculous. You're going to do it on your phone. You're not going to go back and take it and do it on, your.
Well, on my phone, I just go online and do it through the city website. But I guess you can download the app, might make it easier.
To answer
Just
your
an
question
easier step if you have the app and just do it, right?
if you already have the pictures, you're able to just download it. Once you might see it, take a picture, and then later on, once you get settled, then you can go to the app and upload.
That's usually what I do. I
Yeah.
go home and send a picture in.
My comment is I've used it and it works. Tremendous response. My worry is, and I'm going to date myself here, is that I'm Mrs. Kravitz. I mean, do you really have the I mean, this is what you're looking for, right? I mean, I just want to make sure. I mean, I'm not sending ridiculous things, but you know, when sidewalks are blocked or a branch is hitting something, or like you see a resource that's just spurting up into you're looking for that data. Is that correct?
That's a great point, right? So we have to make sure we are catering to all age groups. So this is a large demographic of people that can do the apps, but we still have people who call and say, hey, this is what's going on. Can you help me? And we still put them in the queue, and it goes from there, because everybody they're not able to, you know, do the technology. So we still have I don't want to say the old school, the more seasoned way of picking up a phone and calling.
I did date myself. The Mrs. Kravitz reference was to people over complaining.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, okay.
That's my worry, is that it does. The tool's great. But is it bringing the right issues to the city to work on? That's all I want to, you know.
Yeah.
How is that triaged? You know.
So with this, if they're going through the app, they see that the activity is going on. You're not able to do two of the same issues. So, and we're always going to have individuals who are going to call.
Yeah, I think that's the minority. There's only one Mrs. Kravitz, right? So there'll be a couple of them. You are one of them, and then a few others.
I always thought the
So just
Mrs.
go with the tribe. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I always thought people like that were helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have to complain. I know Mrs. Kravitz will.
So,
Good. Thank you for that report. Any other comment?
there's one other item
Oh,
I just
okay.
remembered. We have a collaboration with the chamber and the city. So there is a flyer that is out for businesses as well. So for business owners, if they want more information on the legal components of their business, the chamber and the city has formed a collaboration, and that flyer will be emailed to you all, and it's also on the city as well as the chamber's website. That's all that I have.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you
Phoebe.
for that report. Any public comments?
Security,
Come up.
Need to come to the microphone, please.
sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't. I don't have a big, huge comment, but the securities
Company, phenomenal. I mean, whatever's been done with that has been a tremendous help. And for not just our business, when you walk up and down Beach Street on a Saturday, you see more people out, you see more families out. So my comment would be, whatever you gotta do to keep that thing rolling, do it, because it works. So,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any board comments?
No, sir.
Just great to see that the city is moving in the right direction, and we can visibly see what's taking place and what's being done in various throughout the city, which means a lot. So we appreciate all the hard work and each and one of us, you know, that we're putting effort and responding, and yeah. So thank you. All right, meeting adjourned.
Okay.